Hello, everybody. Hope you are well. Thank you for joining us. If you just joined that panel discussion, I hope you enjoyed it, hearing what your fellow travel agents said all about P&O Cruises and what they love. Now, you'll be pleased to know I'm going to give you a bit of a break from listening to me. So I am going to hand you over to two absolute experts from P&O Cruises, and they're going to share their top tips on how and when to share content on your social media channels. That's looking at the wave period, how you can maximize the effect of that, and then also understand what tools and assets are out there for you. Now, before I do hand over to our fabulous Antonia and Holly, just remember to pop your raffle number in the chat section. For this session, we've got a £250 dining out card up for grabs. Woohoo, I hear you say. I see some love hearts going up the screen there. And a £250 not on the high street voucher. So I can see how many of you have typed in your number. These are all put into a randomizer, and we will announce those winners at the end of the session. So I'm going to love you and leave you. And these are very capable hands. So I'm going to hand over to you guys, and I will see you in a second. So over to you, Holly and Antonia.
Thanks, Steph.
Hi guys, lovely to meet you all and welcome to our Let's Get Social session as we talk everything social media over the next half an hour or so. I'm Antonia, P&O Cruises Senior Social Media Manager, and I've been with the company for about 2 years now, but I've actually worked in the social industry for about 10 years. So really excited to be sharing some of our top tips with you all. And a little bit later, Holly is going to be jumping in as well from our trade sales team and sharing some ideas about how you can best represent P&O Cruises on your social channels as well. So stay tuned for lots of details on that as well. So hopefully you're all currently active on your social media channels already, or thinking about how you can ramp up using them to a bit more affect this wave. But I think one of the most important areas that I always like to reflect on is actually why it's a really critical form of marketing for all businesses to be using. So whether it's Facebook, X, Instagram, or TikTok that you're interested in using, ultimately what's at the heart of all of the channels is the intention of forming communities. So, whether it's connecting with your family or friends or your customers or strangers across the world who have similar interests as you, it's really the opportunity to connect and build relationships with each other. So that's something that's super important to consider when you're thinking about your marketing, because actually your competition on social isn't just your travel agents, but actually it could be anyone. It could be the family or friends of your customers as opposed to just your direct competitors. It's actually one of the best methods of communication as well, because people can actually speak back to you, so you can truly get to understand your audience and really what motivates them also to inform your business. So, in order to be able to have content that's effective for you, understanding your audience is absolutely crucial. So, really understanding factors such as demographics of your audience within the analytics of the platforms, you can really start to understand what are the ages of your audience and what are other factors like where they're actually located within the world, so that you can start to really build a picture of who it is you're speaking to, which channels that you should be active on, and actually what type of content's likely to resonate with those people. So, really looking at the previous performance of your post is absolutely crucial in order to then start building up that picture and influencing your strategy. Another good factor as well to consider is actually where they are in their purchase journey. So, are you speaking to your previous customers, or people who have an upcoming trip booked with you, or people who actually have just really liked your social content and may not have even considered booking a holiday with you before, so that you can really start to tailor that picture? What I would love you all to do is to drop a note in the chat as well and let me know what you love about social media, how it's working for your business, and if there's any kind of key challenges that you're having on your social channels as well. So feel free to leave lots of comments for us. So when it comes to content planning, this is one of the key areas where you can actually really help to build up an effective social strategy. So, becoming more planned is a lot more than actually just popping up a quick post on social, but actually, at the heart and soul of this is actually building content calendars. So, having a content calendar where you start to articulate all of the days and actually all of the content themes and goals that you have for your channels is key, so that you can start to actually articulate the themes that you want to be speaking about to your customers. So, actually becoming a lot more planned also is sometimes about setting aside some dedicated time to work on social. So, if you can spend a couple of hours really starting to draft the post against those goals, if you can't do it for the next month, then even getting ahead and doing it for the upcoming week is really key, so that you can start to get a bit more organized. Because as everyone's rushing around frantically about their days, actually popping up social posts last minute can actually be a lot more challenging than if you just kind of sat down and took a bit of time all in one go. Also, try to make sure that your plans are differentiated by channels. So, over time, creativity can start to wane a little bit, but having a content calendar can be really effective for then starting to think about how you can lean into the unique benefits of each channel and how you can start to differentiate your tone of voice and the types of imagery or video content that you're posting on the channels. Channel selection is also something that's super important. So, actually thinking about which channels do you want to be present on, which do you actually enjoy posting to, because enjoyment is really crucial for understanding actually, are you talking to the right people in the right platforms? And it's sometimes better to be a bit more selective in the channels that you're using. So rather than trying to conquer everything, having few and doing them well and posting really regularly is a lot more effective than just trying to do every single platform, especially if you're trying to do as much as possible yourself. Optimizing your profile is also something that's key. So, really reflecting, is your platform actually as neat and tidy as possible? So, things like Instagram stories, do you have highlight covers? Do you have cover photos on your channels? Are your bios up to date? Is there anything that you could add there? And on screen are just a couple of examples of content that you could be publishing as well, in case you're running out of any inspiration. So, in terms of education content, there's areas such as exclusive offers. So, what can you offer your social following that maybe you can't offer via your website? So, doing some little tests can be really effective and quite low commitment ways to trial some new offers. Having lots of how-to guides as well can be quite influential content. So it could be anything from things like when's the best time of book to actually how to get the most out of the destinations that you're marketing. And then lots of areas such as GIFs, memes, etc., are super popular on social. So, really thinking about how you can lean into humour that's really at the heart and soul of social. There's tons of great functionality as well that platforms like Instagram Stories have available. So, having polls and quizzes are just really quick and easy ways that people can engage with you. It doesn't take a lot of time, but actually popping just some questions to the audience can be really effective. And in terms of immersive content, user generated content is something that I'm super passionate about. So, actually, have your customers tagged you in images? Could you request permission to then share them to your socials so that you can start to show customers actually what other people's experiences are like? And can you start to give the floor to your employees as well? So, actually showcasing other people who have booked via you and actually showcasing the people at the heart of your business. And here's just a couple of pointers for things that you might want to think about doing daily for your platforms. So, really ensuring robust customer service is key. So, users want and expect social media to be an available channel of choice if they have any queries or booking inquiries. So, making sure that you're able and equipped to deliver that as quickly and seamlessly as possible for people is key. Think about how you can take conversations offline. So, if there are things that you want to have a conversation with people on in more depth, sometimes taking them offline can be more appropriate. Also, considering how you can proactively engage with others is really key. So, actually, more than just responding to customer service, you also want to be thinking about how you can really deepen the relationships that you have with others. So actually taking the time to engage with their posts, if people are tagging your account, taking the time to thank them can really go a long way and can foster relationships with others. Reviewing industry news and updates is something that's also really important. So there are loads of good resources that I could recommend. Areas like Social Media Today are great resources. So they have a ton of emails that you can kind of subscribe to and get the latest updates. There's also lots of good courses if you ever want to upskill in social. So I would also really recommend Meta Blueprint, where you can work through different training at your own pace, learn a bit more about both Facebook and Instagram, and you can also gain some certifications via the platforms as well if you're interested in doing that. So taking the time to do that can be really effective. If you're a business who hasn't actually trialed paid social in the past as well, it can be a really good opportunity to learn a bit more about the platforms, how you can configure some campaigns, start selecting different objectives and targeting in order to then be able to appraise performance of ads. So, paid social is something that I am also really passionate about and can be super effective for businesses. Monitoring competitor social accounts is something that is also key. So, really starting to understand what are the moments that others are speaking up about, what are the content themes that are working effectively for them. And also to maintain and update your content calendar. So, making sure you're doing this on a daily basis so that it doesn't get too overwhelming and you know exactly what you're going to be posting at any given time. I've also prepared a bit of a weekly checklist as well. So you want to take a bit more of a step back at the end of each week and really have a look at the performance of your post. So understanding actually what's working for you so that you can really dial that up, or if there are areas where you're not finding as effective performance, you can start to stand down those types of posts. Also being careful around things like not to post too frequently on social, because typically the more frequently you post within a day, you can start to harm the individual performance of posts. So really paying attention to areas like that are also key. Creating and scheduling content for the following week is also important so that then you don't end up having to do things very last minute. Reviewing performance of paid social ads and building new ads, if that is something that you are trialing for your business, also can be important. Obviously, monitoring these daily would be optimum, but if you don't have enough capacity to do that, at least weekly, so you can keep an eye on how your campaigns are ticking over. Also, performing thorough competitor deep dives can be quite effective so that then you can start to really make note of any insights and observations from other people's content that you've enjoyed. Using areas such as Instagram's save functionality as well can be quite effective. So when you see a piece of content you like that other people are doing, actually just saving it down can be really effective. So you can go back to it when you have a little bit of time and thinking about how you could actually run similar content yourself or take a concept to the next level. Researching awareness days as well is something that's quite important. So, by having a content calendar, you can start to map out some of the key moments throughout the year. So, if there are particular moments or seasons that you want to tie content in with, having it articulated in a content calendar can be really useful. So, there are a ton of awareness days out there. Some might say too many at this point, but actually having a list and deciding which ones you feel are going to be most effective for you can be really useful. Also brainstorm content ideas. So just remember, you're not on your own with your social content. Actually, having a chat, even if it's with family and friends, can be really effective so that actually you can get other people's ideas also. Even if it's ideas that you maybe want to take and bank for the future, it can be really effective. And to review and evaluate the KPIs or targets that you set. So, once you've started to build a picture of how your performance is working for you, by articulating set KPIs, you can then hold yourself to account and see if concepts aren't working. That's something that then you have a direct measure for. So, typical types of KPIs you might want to look at are things like impressions. So, that's how many times a post has reached somebody's timeline. And then areas such as reach. So, how many people did the post reach? What was the engagement rate that you saw? If you're doing paid social, you might be interested in metrics such as what was the amount of traffic you drove to your website? How long did people spend on your site? What was the bounce rate? So, how many people got to the site and then went straight off afterwards? So, measures like this can really help you build a picture of actually both quantity wise, what's the performance that your social activity is driving, but also quality so that you can ensure you have a balance of both. And a couple of final thoughts from my side before I hand over to Holly. Don't forget to actively promote your channels. So, really make sure that your social channels are something that you're mentioning to your customers. If you're sending out email communications, check the footers to make sure that you have links to all of your profiles. Make sure they're actively posted on your website as well. If you can, integrate feeds as well that then have your social post displaying to your users via your website, that could also be something that's quite effective. Ensure content adds value for users. So really think about what is it you're trying to achieve. Is it you're trying to entertain users? Are you trying to inform them? What is the kind of strategy that you're taking? And making sure that any content you publish then adheres to that goal. Treat each channel individually. So make sure that you're not just posting the same thing to every single channel, and think about how you can differentiate that content. And don't forget to consider SEO for platforms such as YouTube. So, if there are channels that you are using for your business, actually considering things like how you can make sure you have relevant keywords within your titles and descriptions, how you can tag the posts can be really key. So, really thinking about your SEO strategy for social as well is really important. And where it's relevant, tie content in with seasons, capitalizing on users' mindset. So I know I'm definitely enjoying all of the festive content that's out there at the moment, but have a think about things like if it's a completely rainy day, how can you really harness that to your effect for your social content? And now I'll hand over to Holly, who's going to run you through some tips about how you can best represent P&O Cruises on social.
Hi everyone, I'm Holly. I'm the Trade Communications Executive here at P&O Cruises, and I'm going to take you through the shine side of social, so everything we do when we're promoting to you and how you can use that to promote to your customers too. So first of all, touching on our assets that are available on Shine. So we have our social media assets available and also any destination images. There's two ways you can access these. So the first being through Asset Bank. If you are a Shine Rewards Club member, which I'm hoping most of you are, you can access Asset Bank and download images from all different destinations and create your own assets. It gives you a bit more room to create assets that suit your audience. However, we do ask that these are approved by your managers so that it's definitely on brand. But to make things a bit easier, we also have our own social media assets that we've created for you. You can download these on Shine, and these are updated weekly that come out with our weekly sales pack on a Wednesday and on a Friday with the deals email. So these are easily downloadable off Shine, and there's normally a monthly bank on there. So you can pick and choose what ones are relevant for your audience on that week. Also, just to touch on Shine, you can download our window assets. So these, again, similar to social, same kind of thing, but usually to be put up in the store windows. And these are also downloadable on Shine. And then just touching on creating your own brand. So with the rise of Instagram Reels, TikTok, all becoming the new thing in the social world, it's really something to capitalize on in the travel space. So we can see on social media, how would you interact with content? How are you persuaded to book your holidays? And I think a lot of the time TikToks and Instagram Reels are a great way of bringing these things to life. A static image only does so much. So bringing things to life in a video can really encompass everything that happens on a P&O Cruises holiday. And then looking at what your customers are interested in. So really understanding your audience and understanding what content they want to see will really help sell P&O Cruises for you. I think Antonia mentioned earlier, it might have been on the previous session, LinkedIn is a really great space to find content that other travel like-minded people are interacting with. So it's a great way to find assets on there and things to post that are relevant for our brand. And then just learning from our RV insiders. So we've had some amazing travel agents which have really promoted our brand in a great way, creating YouTube videos, TikToks, and just engaging with their audience authentically rather than it being a real sales pitch. It's more of a genuine video, talking about their experiences on board or any events they may have been to. It's a great way of bringing to life everything on board. And I won't go through these now, but you can look at those in your spare time and see how they've performed. And then standing out from the crowd. So I know social media can feel very time consuming, and you just want to kind of get it on there and get it done. So it's there. But why should somebody buy with you and not with somebody else? How can you sell without selling? So there's multiple ways we can do this. Tagging brands and using hashtags to be part of the community of the travel conversation is a great way of doing that. But also making sure you're following P&O Cruises' main brand social media and also our social media. A quick way of doing this is just resharing with your thoughts as well. It's great time-saving job, and all the assets are already there for you. Hashtags are a great way. So we're using P&O Cruises hashtag cruise travel, and of course hashtag Shine Rewards Club, anything Shine related. So make sure you're using those hashtags and joining in with all the conversations around our brand, but travel as a whole as well. And then just some hints and tips to help out. So there's a few standard sizes of images and videos that will be relevant for the different platforms on social media. So 1x1 on Instagram and 9x16. These, you don't need to memorize these off by heart. A lot of the platforms will tell you this, so you can change the dimensions to fit the right platform. And there's also help pages on all these platforms to help you make sure you're uploading the right size content for the right platform. Always think mobile first. So I'm sure you're all aware everyone's glued to their mobile phones these days. So just making sure that everything you post is available in a mobile friendly way. And also that if you're posting any video content, 80% of users are more likely to watch your video if there's captions available. So making sure that all your videos are subtitled or with captions, which makes it a lot easier for your customers to digest on their busy commutes or whatever they might be doing. Linktree. So Instagram annoyingly doesn't allow you to put links in captions, which I'm sure we've all been caught out on multiple times. And Linktree is something you can put in your Instagram bio. So if you want to send your customers to multiple different sites, it's a way they can click one link and they can go to as many different sites as you list in that link. Our socials, so in our world, our static assets perform a lot better in our Instagram, whereas Facebook video tends to perform a lot better, aside from Instagram Reels. So just touching on what Antonia said earlier, understanding your analytics and seeing what performs best in what platform is really important. If you're finding that videos are performing better in Instagram or Facebook, make sure you follow that trend, as you're more likely to reach a bigger audience. And then user-generated content. So this is touched on this a lot earlier on in the PowerPoint, but making sure you're getting as much content as you can at any events you come to, or so if you're on a ship visit, if you're lucky enough to get on your own cruise, or even just any events that you attend, really creating that content, capturing that content and bringing it to life for your audience is really going to help you stand out from the crowd. And then finally, just some brand styles from us. So what we ask of you. So I'm not going to read through them all and bore you to death. You can have a look through for yourself. But just some key ones to pull out is P&O Cruises, never P&O. Please remember the cruises. And just some other ones, guests, not passengers. We're always ships, not boats. And if at any point you have any questions, or you're unsure about the best wording, just run it past your business manager and they'll be happy to help you out with any requests you may have. And I think That's it from me, and I'll hand back to Steph for any questions.
Hello, thank you, ladies. That was absolutely fantastic. I learned a lot. I'm not the best. I always say get down with the kids on the social, but I'm told if you say that, you are definitely not getting down with the kids. So I think there was a lot of great advice in there. So I don't think I saw huge amounts of questions coming through. Just that people need to get involved with reels. It's great with social that you can reach out to people in the comfort of their home. And is it true reels seem to reach a larger audience in the travel sector?
There's something that definitely I would highly recommend trying. I think reels are something that are really popular with users. They're really that way to sometimes immerse yourself in what the experience is like, which I think for the travel industry absolutely is perfect. People really want to envisage what's it like taking a holiday. And it's something where really I think the experience of reels, having music is something that really helps bring that to life all the more. So having the inbuilt music library that you can choose different tunes to pair your video content with is really effective. So definitely would recommend it for travel industry.
Love that. Please type in your questions if you do have any more questions. But I think everyone's took away a lot. I certainly have. There was just one question. We post at least once a day. Is this too frequent? They have to balance deals, news updates, and informative content. Is that too much?
Personal opinion, once a day I think is quite effective. It's when you start posting multiple times a day to the same channel, have a look at your own metrics and have a look at your performance analytics in your account. But typically what you can see is it can compress the performance of each individual post if you post multiple times a day. So really looking at how you can post different content to each channel will help with that. So rather than posting floods of content to one channel, spreading it out across multiple channels can be effective, or just sometimes going for fewer, bigger, better can also be quite effective. Or looking at things like if you're active on Instagram, how can you utilize stories as well as main feed posts in order to balance the performance there as well.
Love that. And
I did also see another quick question. I just wanted to also jump in on as well. I think there was a question around people had seen more success with Facebook and Instagram and had struggled a little bit more with X as a platform as well. So that's something that industry wise I think is really common. X works really effectively if you're looking for kind of political updates or sport updates, but it can be a little bit more challenging if you work in other industries to get that performance. One thing I would recommend trying for that is maybe try text only updates. They're something that can be quite effective, which is actually quite dissimilar to the other channels, which are really visually focused. And also looking at how you can do things like use the inbuilt poll functionality that they have as well. So there are a couple of quick suggestions as well. I just wanted to recommend maybe giving a try to if you haven't seen much success with that platform yet.
Love that. And one thing for you, Holly, is about making own social assets. I think the great thing is that you do have all of those assets available. There is the Market and Asset Bank, but it is utilising a lot of the tools that are already done for you. But someone did point out, can you produce window assets for solo travellers? So perhaps when we've got a great deal on that, you may be able to help our travel agents out with that.
Yeah, definitely. Any suggestions or any queries you have, just shout, reach out to us, and we're more than happy to help. Like Steph said, they're there for you to use. We don't use them because we're helping you. So yeah, please do use them as and when you need.
Good. And look, there's so many comments. Thank you. That was so helpful. That's really helpful. Going to get the team on board with a content calendar. So I know you're really passionate about that, Antonio. That's going to be really helpful. So yeah, we hope that this has been really helpful for you to represent P&O Cruises, absolutely wow your customers with the knowledge that you're gaining from these 2 days, and then get those deals going out far and wide and showcasing, the how-to guides, showing how informative you can be to help people and inspire for your next holidays. So I think it's time. Should we give away those prizes? Because we do have some lovely gift vouchers on offer. So can I have a drum roll, ladies, please? For the £250 dining out card, the number that was pulled at random was number 1300, and that's Danny Hardwick from Hayes. So congratulations. Thank you very much. That voucher will be on its way to you. And the next drum roll is for a £250 not on the high street voucher. And that was for raffle number 1340. And it's Elitza Nixon. So I hope I have said that correctly. So we will get that detail or that lovely voucher to you as soon as possible. Do you have any final thoughts to leave our lovely travel agents with, Holly or Antonia?
I think from my side, the beauty of social is in trying new things. So I would just really say, if you found something hasn't worked for you in the past, don't be afraid to try it again. The platforms change all the time, so keeping pace with them is really difficult. So, sign up to email updates where you can, just to really find out a bit more about the industry. And I would say as well, don't worry if you feel like you're behind on social. The industry moves at pace and it is really difficult to keep up with it. So you can only do your best. Really use your friends, your family, and everyone to really think about some content suggestions, brainstorm with other people, and really just have fun with your channels. And the more you enjoy it, the more your customers will enjoy interacting with you as well. So thank you guys so much for joining our session.
Fab. Anything from you, Holly?
Thank you so much. Just going to say, everyone has the chance to get involved at so many events, getting on board our ships, whether that's a ship visit or on their own holiday. So just really utilise capturing that content and bringing it to life. It's the best sales tool I think there is. So yeah, definitely capture that.
Fabulous. Well, we will go. You've got 5 or so minutes before our next session. So that's all about Shine Rewards Club. So we will hopefully see you there. Please join us at 4:10 for more fun with P&O Cruises. Thanks for joining us. Thank you to our lovely guests. And we will say goodbye and see you in a few minutes. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.